I'm excited to share with you all the new details surrounding the highly anticipated mod, Beyond Skyrim. Just recently, we had the wonderful Creation ModCon 2024, which shows off some of the most incredible upcoming mods for the Elder Scrolls V. For this video, I'll be focusing solely on Beyond Skyrim, but expect to see other videos on the channel covering the rest that were shown. And maybe think about subscribing. It greatly helps out with the channel, and you won't want to miss out on all the exciting content coming up soon. So with all that out of the way, let's first go over what this huge mod is about for anyone that is unfamiliar. Beyond Skyrim is the largest mod out there, built up of multiple modding teams that aim to open up the borders of Skyrim and bring the neighbouring provinces to life. The entire project is divided into 8 separate locations, all of which are absolutely massive in scale. We've already seen the release of one with Bruma, which took you to the northernmost county in Cyrodiil back in 2017. The other planned areas are Argonia, Morrowind, Cyrodiil, Roscrea, Elsewhere, Atmora, Iliac Bay, and finally Valemud. For this video, I'll be bringing my attention to everything shown at the latest CMC, which at the time of this recording includes 6 of these regions. The first we'll be taking a look at is Morrowind, the New North. Venture to the alien lands of Tamriel's far east in Beyond Skyrim Morrowind. Explore the home of the Dunmer centuries after the cataclysmic Red Year. Revisit the strange and intricate cultures of the Dunmer and Betmer, also known as Beastfolk, who call this land home, or uncover secrets long thought forgotten beneath the ash. This goes from the islands to the north of Vardenfell all the way back to the Skyrim border. It's around the size of Whiterun. No, not the city, the entire hold. But that's only the exterior. Of course, you have the many dungeons, interiors, and other quest zones that will be separate from all the main playable area, meaning there will be a lot for us to explore. Speaking of dungeons, you'll find many out in the world. Some will consist of unique landmarks, but most commonly you'll find yourself either delving into a cave in true Skyrim fashion, or more uniquely to Morrowind, ancestral tombs. Finally, there will be a couple more brand new dungeons to discover, one of which are a set of Velothi towers, and last but not least is a Qualma egg mine. Across the world, you can challenge a selection of Reaver settlements that vary in size, loot the remains of shipwrecks, and traverse some Daedric ruins. In total, we have around 47 confirmed locations. However, in the trailer, they revealed they don't want to spoil everything, meaning there may be a handful of other exciting locations on top of everything revealed in the showcase. Outside of dungeons and general world exploration, there will be 2 major quest hubs in the New North. One inside of Bleakrock Isle, and another location in Dagon Fell. Currently, there's no specific details on what the main quest will entail, but we do know there will be a total of 7 major quests to get stuck into. Alongside this, there are 6 side quests to complete, and 11 miscellaneous ones, with the promise that they're more in-depth than the usual fetch quests that you're tasked with in Skyrim. It will feature 72 new NPCs, with 33 different voice types, many of which will either give you or be involved in one of these quests. On the topic of new characters, you can also find 2 unique followers, although they have yet to be revealed. Out on your adventures, you might come across one of the many new random encounters that give you that extra bit of immersion with an accompanying soundtrack, complete with 50+ atmospheric songs to get lost in. Moving on to the second region shown, we have Atmora. Across the Sea of Ghosts, the lost continent of Atmora awaits. Devastated by a cataclysm long ago, it holds many untold mysteries. From the mountains in the north to the shores of the south, Atmora has been lovingly crafted to depict a believable Arctic open world and the ruins of a once great civilization. Now, one thing to note is that this makes up the smallest development team in the Beyond Skyrim project, but that doesn't mean that they don't have large plans. Atmora will be made up of 4 main regions, with the largest, Suffolk, being made up of 1,783 exterior cells. However, whilst this may seem impressive, especially for just one of the regions, a lot of the space is made up of a barren wasteland. There are still a lot of places for you to explore, with unmarked curiosities all around, but expect the land to feel lifeless at times. It's supposed to. They confirmed that the region will contain 9 side quests, all of which have recently completed their first draft. Currently the miscellaneous tasks have only just begun development, so there's no further details surrounding those. But we do know that there will be 14 dungeons to delve into. Next to this area lies another, a sacred land that is said to be incredibly dangerous. It's essentially a city that is explorable on the surface and below, with a chance for the player to find some powerful magical artifacts to make use of. At the moment, this area is the priority for the concept artists, as they were originally planning on using the vanilla assets, but they wanted to match the level of the other projects. The final region that was revealed lies to the east, known as the Icewoods. This features 1,263 exterior cells, with 8 side quests and 5 miscellaneous tasks. Of course, it also includes dungeons, one of which they call a mega dungeon, where you'll face a labyrinth of roots and decay. The Roscrea team did also go through some development problems, with a change in leadership, mixed in with needing to redo a number of assets, which set them back a fair bit. Still, I'm just as excited as ever to explore this harsh climate and discover everything that it has to offer. The third region that got shown was Roscrea. Deep within the mists of the Sea of Ghosts, there lies a set of islands ripped straight from the pages of legend. For centuries, Roscrea has stood apart from the historical arena that is Tamriel, a distant land whose tales of untold riches endured in the minds of explorers as little more than a whisper. But much has changed in the years since. Aboard the Northern Stallion, you can make your way there and see for yourself the ancient cities, cavernous ruins, and witness a world frozen in time. This particular showcase doesn't go as heavy on the statistics, but instead is a nice change of pace, showing off one of the many quests, where yourself and Dagnar, a retired explorer, delve deep into a cavern that was recently unearthed. At the moment, some of the voices aren't finalized, but you can still get a feel for the quality of the quest design. We can see the introduction of some new armor used by one of the Draugr, along with this weapon, once wielded by your companion, but has now been passed on to you as a reward for finishing the quest. They also mention of a land protected by the warriors of House Whitebear, who are said to be taller than the Nords of Skyrim, and are supposedly descendants of northern kings. Their goal is to stop anyone who wishes to rule over them and thinks themselves gods. Another settlement is Stangval, home of miners, where the earth reveals rich minerals to the people, most notably mithril. It is in this mining town that you first meet Dagnar and can begin his quest. There's not much else I can summarize about Roscrea, but if you're interested in seeing more, then I highly recommend watching the showcase for yourselves. I'll be leaving a link to their channel in the description for you to check out. Next up is a very popular location with Beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil. Empress Titus Mede II's death sparks a race to take the crown and guide Cyrodiil and the Empire into the future. During your travels, you will encounter some of the most influential people in the country. Earn their trust and they may confide with you in their plans to increase their standing and sit on the most powerful throne in Tamriel. Whether they succeed is up to you. As their ambitions become clear, your loyalty to them may waver. Either stick with their chosen candidate or betray them. Make the right decisions or face humiliation. Now this year's showcase is specifically based around the Vigilance of Stendarr, where they have revealed that you'll actually be able to become a member in a fully fledged miscellaneous faction. Similar to the Bard's College, but much larger in scale. And you'll be doing it in none other than Penitence Rock, which makes up the largest base for the Vigilants anywhere in Tamriel. The Vigil is one of the many allies who can be recruited when you need to crown a new emperor. Do keep in mind that every ally will have a different perspective on how best to improve Cyrodiil following the events of the Oblivion Crisis 200 years ago. In terms of the Vigil, they aim to protect the religious interests of the Empire and create a safer space, so it's up to you to decide whether or not this is the group you want leading the people. The mod aims to make the rise to the top of the Vigilants feel rewarding, most notably by expanding on the Radiant system in Skyrim and pushing it to the limits from what we thought once possible. Along with the other questlines, this mod will require you to make decisions that will have genuine consequences. If you end up representing Stendarr in the right way, you might find yourself in possession of the Hammer of Stendarr. You might be wondering what makes it worth all that effort to get it. Well, it comes with 3 enchantments. The first, Justice, makes it so when you're fighting undead, Daedra, werewolves or vampires, they're hit with Stendarr's Holy Flame. But we don't know what this actually looks like at this time. The second, Mercy and Compassion, provides you with a buff that gives you passive healing towards your followers upon praying at a shrine of Stendarr. And the final enchantment, Charity, gives you an effect that increases the chance of hitting a critical strike for a time after donating money to a beggar. So overall, I'd say it's definitely worth the struggle to get your hands on this one. Moving on to the next region, we have Argonia. Travel to the oldest, darkest corner of Tamriel and explore the mysterious homeland of the Argonian people. Isolated from the troubles plaguing the rest of Tamriel, the lands of the Argonians grapple with their own struggles. Immerse yourself in the unique culture of the Argonians. Explore the peaks of the Stone Wastes or the dark centre of Mirkwood, uncovering lost cultures known to few outside the marsh. The 2024 showcase showed off the region of Tain Akal, a bamboo forest located between Blackwood and Mirkwood. It shows the player entering an Argonian village known as Yigernessa. This place is complete with a custom design based on lore-accurate architecture. Since the last ModCon, the development team has made an additional 1,500 3D assets, bringing the total to around 8,500. They show off the interior of one of the homes, which contains a ton of amazing details that feels truly unique. Like the Roscrea preview, this one goes a little deeper into the gameplay itself, with their goal being to hunt down one of the Kaj Masu, one of the native creatures that make up Argonia's dangerous wildlife. We also get to see the full Turnian iron armor and accompanying weapon set, all of which looks fantastic. Additionally, they gave us some info surrounding the number of planned quests, with around 50 in total, only 3 of which are found in the village. There's expected to be 200 fully written NPCs across the whole of Argonia, recorded by some high quality voice actors. I think this needed to be clarified because at the time they're utilizing AI voices as a placeholder until everything is ready. Finally, we get a brief look at the Kaj Masu in-game, complete with some unique sound effects that turned out great, leaving us with a bit of a cliffhanger at the end. And last but not least, we have Iliac Bay. Return to the lands of High Rock and Hammerfell. Experience new quests in the varied biomes of the western provinces, from the wilds of Dalekir to the winding streets of Daggerfall. The showcase begins by giving us an update on High Rock, which has received a lot of work from level designers, with the addition of some brand new secrets to uncover. But the main focus for the video was around Hammerfell, and more specifically, the islands of Herne and Caspar. Over the last year, the islands have gone over a dozen quests and is in a somewhat playable state. Many of the dungeons are now fully explorable, although they don't give us a number on how many we can expect to see in the region. The gameplay was a little all over the place, as their preview was essentially highlights of the development process, showing us what it's really like to work on the mod. But whilst the group didn't take things as seriously as the other teams, it doesn't mean the quality is bad by any means. In fact, things are looking great. We got a look at the illusion dialogue checks, which is such a good idea and should definitely be a part of the vanilla game. We also got a new look at Ino Herna, a massive ruin that was once home to the Redguards when they first arrived in Hammerfell. But now it's crawling with enemies and secrets for you to find. At this time, they're still working on the interior, but they have finished up with 2 side quests set in the area. As for what's left, the team is busy creating new enemy types, armor and weapon sets, as well as adding in some generic dialogue to make the environment feel alive. If you were wondering about Valenwood, unfortunately they weren't featured in this year's ModCon. However, they did recently make a community post sharing some images of their new assets and concept art, so we might be waiting a little while before we get to see some actual gameplay. And with that, there's everything you need to know about Beyond Skyrim in 2024. Towards the end of each showcase, the teams mention how they're looking for various roles to help them with the project, so if that sounds like something that interests you, then definitely head over to their website, which I'll leave a link to in the description below. So, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.